Trello is great for organizing all the classes you're taking. And if you want to, you can also use it to organize other things in your life, like your sports or your job or your personal tasks or needs. So this video is just showing you how to use the tool in case you're unsure and you've never used it before. Once you sign up for an account, which is free, then you can go ahead and start creating different boards. And the boards are how you organize, for example, different courses that you're taking. So the boards can be designed in a lot of different ways, but just to show you how to create one, if you go ahead on the top right and you do the plus sign, then you can just say create board. Once you do that, you're going to enter in the information. So for example, all right, maybe you're taking ENC 1101, right? So that's the name of the course, and you can decide it's a personal board, it's just for me, right? And then you can create the board. And now it's been created. So when you go in here, a few things that you notice, you have this background that came with it. If you want to, you can change that up. If you go to show menu on the right, you can change the background and you can decide on a color or a photo that comes free with the site, or you can also add photos as well. So as you can see here, in each board, you're basically creating lists of tasks. So if this is ENC 1101, then maybe you're going to have one column that says, major assignments. Okay? And you say add list. And then your next column is going to be week 1, because maybe you do a column for every week of the course. And then there's cards. All right, so that's the main thing. You have list and then you have cards. So major assignments, well, one major assignment, right, might be your writer autobiography. Another one is paper 1, and then paper 2, and paper 3. And so when you have this list, in each card, if you click on it, you can go ahead and edit more information about the card. So you can add a description, okay? So maybe you describe what the assignment is. If you go over here, you can also attach the assignment sheet in case you want to attach the assignment sheet to this particular card, so you could always have access to it through Trello. You can create a checklist. So maybe you have, okay, well, what steps do I need to do in order to complete this assignment, right? And you can add those. So for example, read assignment instructions, okay? And then after that, you're going to draft the autobiography. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and edit it and then proofread it and then submit it to Canvas, right? So you have a little checklist of how to complete that particular assignment. You can add dates as well. So you can add a deadline. Well, when is it due? It's due the 3rd of September, right? Potentially. Okay, what time is it due? And you put that information in and you say, remind me 1 day before, or maybe more, right? 5 minutes before, 2 days before, etc. And you say save. And now that due date has been added to the card. Other things you can do is add a label. So maybe when you have other boards that you create, you're going to have a label for each course. So you can say, okay, anything that's green is ENC 1101, right? And you say save that. So now as you go along and you have, obviously in this case, in this board, everything would be 1101. But you can do other types of labels as well. So maybe you have, I'm going to say easy, or maybe rather than easy, quick. And then you're going to have another color, hard, or takes time. And you do that instead. So then in that case, you can say, all right, well, the autobiography is just 1 page. It's only a narrative. There's no research. So I'm going to go ahead and label that as an easy or quick assignment. And then again, you can attach whatever you want there in case you want to attach an assignment sheet, or even attach a Google Doc so that you can access your narrative immediately from here. And so that's basically what a card you can do on the free version. And then you exit out here. And as you can see, it's been updated. Now it has the color. So okay, this is an easy, quick thing because it's yellow. You know the due date, right? And you know that you have 4 things to do for that particular assignment. So that's one way of doing it. And then again, week 1, maybe you have here, all right, well, what's homework for Tuesday, right? Or maybe homework due Tuesday. And you create that card. Again, you click in here and you say, okay, well, what do I have to do? I have to read this thing, right? Or I have to post this thing in a discussion forum. And you can just describe what the assignment is. If you want to do checklists, right? If you want to label if it's quick or slow, and so on, you can do that as well. You can add the due date, right? And time. And again, you save it, and now that information is there. So that's one approach of creating a board for each course that you're taking. Okay, so that's option 1. Another option is, as you can see, I made this design as well. So here is a board that's the whole semester in a nutshell. So now we have this list, and I have courses 1101, 1101, 1200, 1107, etc., right? And each course has a different color. So now when I click in here, right, what I can do is I can always click attachment, and I'm going to attach from Trello a specific board. So I just made an ENC 1101 one, right here. So I'm going to say that one. I want to attach this board to the overview board. And now it's right there. And so when you exit out, you have this board that you're looking at and you're saying, okay, here are my courses. Here's what upcoming assignments I have for each of my courses. Here's what's happening in each of my courses on week 1, week 2, and so on. But then if I want to, I can say, okay, click ENC 1101, click the attachment, and it opens up the board specifically about that course. Okay, so you're kind of building, okay, an interconnection web of different boards so you can stay organized. Okay, so it really depends how you want to design your Trello boards for work-related activities. Here's a different design for a class as well. So potentially you might want to design it as a to-do list, an in-progress list, and then a done list. So here in the to-dos, you know that, okay, for this particular class, I have to post in the discussion forum. I have to ask my professor about requirements for the group project. I need to start outlining my paper. And I need to start working on the first task in my major assignment. So you have, that's what you need to do. Then you can move the card and say, okay, first thing that I want to do, what's going to be in progress, is post on the discussion forum. And so you work on that, and then you're like, all right, done, it was submitted. You can move it to done, right? You might have 2 things in your in progress. I'm going to work on the discussion forum, and I'm also going to work on emailing my professor to set up a meeting to go over the group project requirements. So once you do that, again, then you move them into done. And so that way you can have a sense of what's going on that needs to get done, what are you currently working on, and then let yourself know when it's finished so you know that it's no longer on your plate. And of course, you can create other lists as well. So potentially here, maybe you have all the tasks needed for your major assignment. And so you just transfer them over as you finish each, right, to the to-do list. You could potentially have more than one assignment. So you have the major assignment, and then here's a group project, and you list the tasks there. So it's just another way of designing your particular class board. And so as you can see, very easy to move the cards in between different lists. And you can also move the list around as well to whatever order works best for you. Keep in mind that the boards are private, but if you want to, you could make them public so that anybody can see them and copy them onto their account. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're creating a template that you wanted others to use. So just keep that in mind. You can invite your classmates or maybe your teammates, whoever it is, to be part of the board in case you want to do that. You can click invite here, and that's possible. But keep in mind, if you're finding a board that you want to use, right? You find a public board or a template and you're like, yes, that's for me. Once you're in that board, you can click show menu here on the right and say more, and then copy the board here. And when you do that, you can rename it wherever you'd like and say, okay, I want it to be my personal workspace. I want to keep the cards and the template cards because I want it to look exactly like it looks currently, and then delete what you don't need later on. And you say create, and now that board is in your profile. So that's how you move or copy a public board into your own private account. If you want to make sure your board appears at the top of your home screen, you can click this star, and that favorites the board. So when you go to the home screen, it will be one of the first boards you see. If it's not needed anymore, you can undo it, and now it's just regularly in your account, but it's not at the top of your list. And again, you can do something different too, because you might have here, all right, I have this board about my academics, and I have a board for each course specifically. But what I also want to do is say, okay, I'm going to create a different board, and I'm going to call it, home life, right? And I'm going to click this as my background, and it's going to be a personal board, and I'll create that. Okay. And so now in this case, you might have personal tasks, right? And you might have home improvement, and then meal prep ideas, right? And so on. And then you can just do organization of your life outside of academics, right? So maybe you need to, declutter your kitchen cabinets, right? Or you might have to do a dentist appointment on a certain day, and you have ideas for a really yummy recipe that you want to try, right? So you can also organize, obviously, life outside of academics if you like this system. Okay, so this is a way of making sure, you're starting a new semester, things are going to be hectic with all your classes and your job and your personal life and your sport event, and you're part of different, sororities or whatever the case may be. You can really organize yourself using this free tool. You can go ahead and check for templates that maybe will interest you. So these are already created, and you can just save them to your personal account. So potentially productivity, right, might be something that strikes you as helpful. So you can go through and see, all right, well, do any of these sound like something that would be helpful for me? Personal and work goals, daily task management. You can click in and see if those are for you, right? So if you click this one, you'll see what it looks like as a template. And okay, here are things that you'll see, right? Very simple. Yes, I want to use it, or maybe you don't, and you go ahead and head back. Okay, so that again is under templates, and there's obviously a lot of different types on here. Education is mainly, from what I can tell, for teachers, but you might find something you like there as well.